Let's bring in state political reporter Nick Harmsen in Adelaide now. So Nick, let's run through some of the details of this South Australian plan. What do we know firstly about the new state government-owned gas-fired power plant? How long will it take to build? How much will it cost? And how much power will it provide?
Well, Ros, we're being told 250 megawatts of power. It's going to take, you would imagine, at least a few years to build, so it's not really going to be an immediate quick fix. But more importantly, I guess, than the power that this power station will be able to provide, because it's only going to do that in emergency circumstances, we're told, is that it will be a new technology capable of providing stability services to the grid. Now, why is that important? Well, you remember South Australia had a catastrophic statewide blackout last year. We have seen some real grid stability issues arise in SA because we have very high penetration of renewables and an interconnected to Victoria with a cheap brown coal. Now, both of those things have squeezed the gas-based generation within South Australia. When there aren't enough gas generators or traditional thermal generators on in South Australia, there is the risk of things like what happened in September last year, that statewide blackout. So by building this government-owned gas-fired plant, it will have a turbine in it spinning all the time, providing inertia and providing the grid stability that the state is lacking at the moment with its current power mix.
And what about the new ministerial powers?
Well, certainly that's something that we had expected might happen, is that, basically the way the national energy market works is that state governments have referred their powers to a bunch of different operators at a national level. So this will basically give the South Australian Energy Minister the chance to intervene in that market if and when he sees fit. So, for instance, if there's a big storm approaching South Australia and Tom Kusintonis, the SA Energy Minister, thinks that some extra security measures should be taken, he'll have the power to intervene and direct generators on, or to direct interconnectors be constrained, the sorts of things that the Australian energy market operator currently has the responsibility for. Now, there are a number of other changes in here. One of the really interesting pieces is an energy security target. Now, I know Chris Uhlmann was speaking about the idea of a carbon price in the electricity sector. This is almost a precursor to that. We know it's not going to happen at the federal level at the moment, but basically the state government is going to force all the energy retailers to ensure that about a third of the power they purchase is coming from firm generation within South Australia. So that will basically force the retailers to buy more gas-fired power from within South Australian borders and reduce the amount that we rely on the interconnector to Victoria. Now, that you might think that in an ordinary circumstance would drive up prices because gas is more expensive than coal. The modelling provided by the government says, well, it'll actually do the opposite, because what it will do is ensure that there is more competition within the gas generation sector within South Australia, and that, of course, is one of the big sources of the problems at the moment, that there isn't enough gas. There are very few companies in the market in South Australia, and they're finding it hard to make money, and when they can make money, they do hand over fist.
One of the other headlines, Nick, was the building of Australia's biggest battery. Any clues yet as to which private company might be behind that?
Well, it's going to go out to tender. We did, of course, have the intervention from Tesla Supremo Elon Musk on Friday, but behind the scenes there have been a number of companies pitching battery projects around the state. Now, batteries are expensive. They are coming down in price rapidly. The government's talking about going out to tender for about 100 megawatts of battery power, which is a sizable amount. And that's important for both providing backup power but also providing grid stability. The thinking here is that, South Australia really needs a solution, some sort of solution to be in place before next summer, because with Hazelwood closing, there's going to be energy shortfalls. A battery can be built very quickly. Is it the most cheapest and longest lasting form of energy? Well, perhaps not. But some of the other solutions being spoken about, like pumped hydro, well, that might take you 5 or 7 years to build the reservoirs for a pumped hydro system, and we really don't have that time in this state with the situation approaching us next summer.
We heard just a moment ago from Chris Uhlmann about what the federal reaction might be. How's this gone down in South Australia, though?
Well, certainly the opposition here has been very strident in its criticisms of the government for pursuing high levels of renewable energy, intermittent renewable energy in South Australia. And it, no doubt, will be making the point today, well, it would have been much cheaper had the government simply found a way to keep its last remaining coal power station open. Of course, the northern power station at Port Augusta closed down rather unexpectedly last year. We do know that its owner had gone to the government prior to that saying, if you want us to stay open, we can. We need you to renegotiate things. It would have required the government to pay them. The government says it wasn't going to do that because as soon as it paid them, it would be paying every generator in the state. But it does beg the question, just what were Alinta, the company who owned that coal power station at Port Augusta, asking for? And had that power station been kept alive, could it be stepping in to provide the inertia the grid here needs at the moment and also the additional supply?
Finally, Nick, is the South Australian government now seeing itself as being at the forefront of a new era of energy supply and energy solutions?
Well, certainly we have been at the forefront of renewable energy for some time, for better or worse. But also, I think this is the South Australian government. The reality is here they face an election in 12 months' time. Their political future is inextricably linked to success with this particular project. And you're already seeing the government spending a lot of money on promotion for this energy plan. It was treated like a budget today with a lock-up and the Premier wandering in, carrying a plan, clutching a plan to his chest. To make it look like they have a plan. So they are really staking a lot of political capital on this. $500 million is not to be sneezed at. We've only just got the budget back into surplus here in South Australia, and now we're going to have to spend most of those surpluses on building new electricity infrastructure. So it's a high-stakes game for Jay Weatherill, but I think he knows that if he doesn't do something, it's not going to go very well.
Nick, thank you.